Welcome back to the Three Benchwarmers Podcast, where today we'll be discussing all things Detroit sports. And I guess we'll start with the Detroit Pistons, who had a pretty big week this last week with a lot of different things going on. So, Mark, do you want to get started?
That Hornets game is, in my opinion, easily a game of the year contender for the Pistons fans. I mean, it just felt like a playoff atmosphere, and it could reasonably be a first round matchup. You know, the Hornets have been hot, they've been getting healthy, and the Pistons just had to come into Charlotte and get rid of this 8 game win streak that they were on. But the Hornets are putting it together. Honestly, in my honest opinion, the Hornets should have won this game, but they fell apart near the end. They were shooting lights out from three. Con Knipple was on a different level. Brandon Miller was crazy from everywhere. I mean, LaMelo, he didn't play that well because he was just chucking up his shots. He was getting his. But honestly, I think the game fell apart when their coach got ejected. Sure, it was a bad call, but when you're a coach, you just kind of have to stay level-headed and let your guys play the rest of it. But the biggest thing was the fight that broke out. Musa Diabate, Miles Bridges, Jalen Duren, and Beef Stew, of course. And I don't know if this is a hot take, but Stu definitely should have gotten more than 7 games. He definitely should have gotten more than 7 games.
Oh, I think 7 games is fair.
He went off the bench and started hucking haymakers at Miles Bridges.
Yeah, but
Granted, the
dude,
only reason
people...
it's 7 is because it was Miles Bridges, and he low-key deserves it, but...
Listen, Draymond Green literally actually connects and like chokeholds people, and he only gets like 10 games max. So I think 7 game suspension is okay.
Yeah, I mean, Beef Stew has a big track record.
That too.
So.
What is Draymond? So that's all I'll say.
I guess punching Jordan Poole in practice, I guess, is a little bit different. But
can we just talk about that? That was just like straight up assault. That was just straight up assault, and they covered it up. I don't know if that's a Warriors problem. I don't know if that's a cops problem. I don't know if that's an NBA problem, but that's a whole other thing. I feel bad for Jordan Poole. He just kind of got punched, and then no one backed him up, so he had to leave. But back to this Hornets game. It was 2 guys in particular who I wanted to highlight is B-Ball Paul. You know, he comes in, he always does a great job. Like, I genuinely think he should be getting real minutes. Like, not just when Duren or Stewart are out, but he is, like, a good player. Like, genuinely a good player. And then Cade Cunningham, he had 30+, and he was able to just take over this game. He was cool under the pressure, and he was able to seal it. So, yeah, and another stat here is that the Hornets went 2 straight games. I don't know if they missed later on in this game, but from this game and last game, they had not missed a single free throw. It's, you know, that's the kind of things that down the stretch will win you games.
Seeing that the Pistons, you know, they have the best record overall wise in the NBA now. Do you guys think that their 3-point shooting will prove to be deathly in the playoffs this year? I mean, they only shot 20% against the Hornets and still won, but obviously when you get to the playoffs and you have to win on the road and stuff, that could be a little bit concerning. So I wanted to see what you thought about that.
You know what? At this point, screw it. Like we don't need to shoot threes at all. Like we might as well just score off twos the entire like season. And I would be okay with it because if anything, having a good defense first and foremost, and then obviously having a good like front court, well, maybe not front court, but being able to attack the paint consistently and get to the free throw line and as a result of attacking the paint just travels better. And like you can be such a more consistent team when you do those things well. Whereas 3-point shooting, you're gonna have nights off where like you don't shoot well. Any team can have this, and then they'll lose games. So I think if anything, the strengths of this team actually play into the playoffs and help the Pistons in terms of like playoff games rather than, you know, I mean, 3-point shooting, having the ability to shoot the three would be great, but I don't think it's a major concern, at least. I mean, they've proven it over and over again that they can win without even, you know, shooting over 20%. So I don't think, at this point, I don't think it's a concern. Maybe in the future, if we're able to improve something, it would be maybe getting another piece that can shoot a three, but
we did get another piece. We did. And he has done nothing. So as a Pistons fan, it has come to my attention that Kevin Huerter has done nothing. right? So that is my concern. The GM, they made a move, fine, whatever, it's done. But if he comes in here, right, and continues to not be able to shoot or get meaningful minutes at this point, like you just literally traded Jaden Ivey away for a bag of croutons. It's not even chips anymore. Like, it's unbelievable. Kevin Huerter, do something, please. We need this, please.
It's not his fault, I don't think.
It is his fault. You come into the team, they traded away a guy, a rotational piece, and there's a very natural slot for you to come in, get minutes, make an impact. Maybe it's because, still new to the whole team, still trying to get his, I don't know, learn the system. But your system is sit in the corner, get the ball, and make it. Play some defense.
Where does he fit in?
So we traded away, 18 minutes of Jaden Ivey's minutes? Who's going to take those minutes? Karis LeVert is already playing,
Jenkins, Javonte Green, Karis LeVert.
Who already have starting or a good role in the team. So
Jenkins played like 5 minutes a game, bro.
Are you really saying that Kevin Huerter doesn't need to play? Is this what you're insinuating?
No, I just hate the trade to begin with, but yeah, I don't think he's been pretty bad this season. And if the coaching staff sees that he continues playing poorly, then why play him? Like, what's the point?
I mean, he logged 13 minutes against the Hornets and did nothing. So 0 for 2.
Yeah.
You know what?
Congrats,
what about this?
Really
what did he play against the Raptors? Because that was a game they were up by 20 in the third quarter, and
He played 21 minutes and he was 4 for 9. I'm not sure exactly when he played throughout the game, but he
4
played
from 9
quite
from the field
quite a
or from
substantial
3?
amount.
Because there's a difference.
4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line, and he played the most out of all bench players.
Whatever. You know what? I'll give him time. I have nothing we literally can't do anything but give him time. But, more on this Raptors game. Ron Holland was also out for that Hornets game too. It's a personal it's a personal reason, so whatever it is, I hope it gets sorted out. He was out for the Raptors too, and Duren and Beef Stew were suspended for the Raptors game. And they still go out there and they just put on a clinic. This was never a game, or when I was watching, never a time where I thought the Pistons could lose this one. Maybe in the first for a little bit, but Scotty Barnes got 3 fouls pretty early on, and they were able to pull away. So
yeah, we had to pull out some G Leaguers, I think, for this game, right?
Tolu Smith,
Because of the suspensions. Tolu Smith and Bobby Clintman. So that was pretty interesting. Tolu Smith coming out of nowhere and having to play 15 minutes off the bench. And we still won. That's probably why Kevin Huerter played substantial minutes, because I could be wrong, but the starters were much more efficient than the bench, at least in that game, and I understand why.
Yeah, like Paul Reed. What was his stat line? Because he had 16 after one quarter.
Yeah. Basketball Paul had the most minutes out of any player on the team with 33. So he scored 22 points, had a plus 21 on the game, which is, we have Beef Stew and Basketball Paul as our centers. Maybe if we include one of those in the trade. In hindsight, I guess it was a good idea not to, because we didn't know that Duren and Stewart would literally start a brawl in the middle of a game and get suspended. But in hindsight, without hindsight rather, why not add a Karis LeVert and either probably not a Beef Stew, but a player like Basketball Paul who has gained some sort of reliability and trade value throughout the season, and get someone that can actually play meaningful minutes and shoot threes, but that's
we
another
got Luke
point.
Kennard for really cheap.
Yes, that was my point.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Karis LeVert and a
He's
bag of
actually
chips would have
balling
gotten Luke Kennard, but please continue.
Yeah.
Right. So the Toronto game, just shows the depth this team has. And again, they shot horribly from 3. Or did they? No, I believe this game they actually shot pretty well from 3. I'm mixing up with the Hornets game. But that at the end of the day, that's not what won them the game. It was, again, their ability to guard the paint, regardless of whether Duren and Beef Stew are on the court. I think the one person that we haven't praised enough, and who's actually going to be coaching today on the All-Star game, is J.B. Bickerstaff. Holy crap, this man this man should be the person we talk about besides Cade Cunningham, because he is the reason why the Pistons are so good. It's not the players. I mean, we had most of these players on our team before he came in, and we won like 5 games the entire season. So,
It was 13.
um,
Don't say some nonsense like 5. It might have been the worst record in franchise history. Monty Williams might be banned from the city of
all
Detroit,
the
but you know.
same, bro. All the
Yeah.
same. Five
Then we
five
got
wins,
dropped.
13 wins.
We got dropped to the fifth pick also. Didn't get Wemby.
Yeah, maybe if we won 5 games, we would have had a little higher chance. Gotten the fourth pick instead of the fifth. No, but yeah, I mean, and we also we've had an episode every week. We have not talked about him at all. Like, and you mentioned that the Hornets should have won that game because their coach was gone. And like as a coach, you should be calm and composed regardless of what happens. Man, one strength of JB Bickerstaff is that he isn't calm and composed when things go down. And that motivates the team a lot. And you can tell like the culture of this team is directly impacted by him. So, I mean, I have nothing but praise, and I think we should
It's
talk about
different
him
what the
more.
Hornets coach did. He went off on the referee, which is like that's the kind of emotion you
Does
don't want to
JB
show.
Bickerstaff not do that every game,
Well,
basically?
not in clutch time when it's close down
I
the
mean,
stretch of the fourth
he's
quarter.
basically built himself a reputation to the point where refs are teching him up within the first 5 seconds of a game for applauding. So I think that only shows like who he is.
I don't know, but I wanna go
I
back on
digress.
this point really quick. Of the most underrated players in the league, I think B-Ball Paul is number one. In terms of, you're gonna laugh, right? But who realistically knows what Paul Reed does on a night-to-night basis, right? When he does play, because he should be playing more minutes. Like he is a genuinely good player. His jump shot may give the eyes a sore. It's very very awful, but it goes in. It goes in. That's the thing. From the line, from three, he's respectable from three. Honestly, he could be playing like backup minutes for like a Tobias Harris or something. Javante Green has also been playing well, and there's a lot of guys in this rotation who deserve the minutes. So it's hard to give Paul Reed his flowers when he deserves them. But honestly, every time I've seen him touch the court, he has never been a negative. I always think he brings a spark, and he's just always a net positive.
I mean, we were at the Knicks game last year at for the playoffs, and it's pretty clear that he was a weakness back then. So I don't know what happened over the summer, but obviously something, maybe they fed him something. I don't know. Again, I put it on JB Bickerstaff. He's been great. So I really want to stress that point because no one talks about him for some reason. I don't know. No one in the league talks about him. In fact, like whenever they talk about the Pistons, it's about Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren and Beef Stew, doing their own thing, and no one talks about JB Bickerstaff. We
I
like
agree
people
that
need to
he's
start
a
giving him
great coach.
respect.
I agree he should
Yeah.
be getting more respect. He's, literally what, 3 or 4 guys different than about 2 years ago when Monty Williams was here, and that's all. Like the young core was always there, and they just needed someone to come in and give them an identity, and that was not Monty Williams. It really wasn't. Who we're still paying, by the way, a lot of money every year for like 5 more years or something. I
Got
hate
him a
Monty
while.
Williams. Monty Williams should be banned from Detroit. Gretchen Whitmer, get on that right now. Not even just Detroit,
Yeah,
Michigan in general.
I mean, like I could understand the hiring at the time when he took the Suns to the
He
finals,
didn't even
but
want to be in Detroit though.
clearly it never was gonna work out. He must have not been trying or something. There's no way you only win 13 games, and then come turn around and make the playoffs as soon as he's gone. So I don't know.
It's
I
whatever.
don't know. I mean, Monty's coaching like a private school in Texas right now, so I mean that only shows his levels of coaching.
Yeah, when you don't put in effort, it's really hard to get another NBA job. Uh, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so next week, the Pistons they have the big game. I would like to say probably this is the one that they've circled. This is the one we've talked about. The game in MSG.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty similar to the last games, if I'm being honest. I think they just have a certain edge against the Knicks that, for whatever reason, from losing last year, how they did to just being a better team this year, in my opinion. I think even with the suspensions, they could go in there and win. I think it'll be a lot tougher, but I'm not sure who's healthy for the Knicks or who's out. But the way the defense has played the last couple games, especially against the Knicks, I do like their chances, at least in a regular season game.
This one might be tough. Dern is out. Beef Stew is out. You're going to have to play Tolu Smith. That's just how it's going to have to be. Um, I'm not saying that he's, bad, but, when you have guys of all-star and six man of the year caliber, it's hard to, fill that gap. But when they go to MSG next week, if they can at least keep it close with as decimated as this roster is, I'll be very happy. But, you go in there and you expect the win. I think Cade Cunningham can still pull out, a rabbit out of his hat. Tobias Harris needs to take a step up, who's been playing well recently. So my take is aging like milk, but just remember Tobias Harris when we get to the playoffs. Anyways, but it's gonna be a close game. I'll leave it at that. I would like the Pistons to win. If I had to put money on it, probably wouldn't put a money line winner. Let's keep it that way.
I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, to be fair, if our bad takes lead to Pistons' success, I'll take it. So
Yeah, I mean, Mark, you should say something else right now.
Say something else.
Yeah, maybe like Cade Cunningham isn't going to be the MVP
No.
of the NBA.
Karis LeVert is a terrorist. Get him off the team.
But that's not a bad take though.
Moving on. Next sport. So the Lions, they don't have much news coming into this week, but a Spartan did have a really great week in the Super Bowl, and Kenneth Walker. He was like the only person on the field who got any sort of offense going until Drake May decided to have about half a quarter of the forward pass. But yeah, what did he end with? 151 yards on the ground on good efficiency on each carry. He popped like two runs for 20 plus at least. And with this Super Bowl MVP from Kenneth Walker, Michigan State is one of, I don't know if it's a few or the only school to have a Finals MVP in every single sport, a major American sport. Let me put it like that.
I know, Mark. How'd you feel about Drake May? He had like the record-breaking amount of passing yards in one quarter, but then for the other three, nothing happened. So I don't know what suddenly flipped.
I will be reserving my judgment on Drake May for a later date. That made me sad and put me in a deep depression. I still love Drake May. Drake May Lover is still my inspiration. But, whenever Drake May Lover, he posts a picture of Drake May on his story every day. It used to be 99% yes, 1% no. And after the Super Bowl, it was 85% yes. So, I will not switch up on Drake May. I will not switch up
All
on
I
Drake
will
May.
say, all I will say about the topic of the Super Bowl is that I think the real MVP of the Super Bowl was the Seahawks coach, Mike McDonald, and you know where he coached. That's all I'll say. And also, the only person to score a touchdown for the Seahawks was the
Was a
one and
Michigan
only
alumni.
AJ Barner, who is from Michigan. So I don't know all this MSU glaze, but realistically, who really won them the Super Bowl? That's all. That's all I will say.
Probably the
No
defense,
further.
but
You know
probably.
how there's a couple of Michigan alumni on that defense. So again,
All right.
I will leave it at that.
All right, we'll move on from that tragic Super Bowl to the not because a Michigan State player won, but because Drake May played like crap. Let's keep that record straight. We'll move on to the Tigers. I think the biggest thing that they had the signing of Verlander. I mean, it's always good to see a guy come back to the team, but will he be able to contribute? And does that even matter? I mean, it does matter to an extent, but
I don't know. I think the signing was, I mean, he obviously could retire a Tiger now, but signing him for 1 year, $13 million was, I mean, only two of it is paid out this year. So, I mean, at least having him on the roster, it's another pitching option. I'm unsure of how he's obviously not like his Cy Young self anymore. It's his 21st season. But I think, looking at the Tigers farm and their starting rotation, and I think there's definitely room for him. I think even on top of that, just the amount of money they've spent this year for going into next year is
On
actually,
just pitchers.
yeah, just is more than I expected. So I don't know if that's a move in the right direction. I guess we'll see how the season goes. But in terms of signing Verlander, I think a lot of Tigers fans rejoiced with that and had a positive feedback for that. So
Yeah, the money spent for sure is on just the Tigers trying to justify getting Skubal out of Detroit. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But I think we underestimate the power of emotions. I mean, if this isn't like a set for a movie, if Verlander coming back, us having a star pitcher that's going to leave after this year, Verlander's probably going to retire after this year, after this 1 year contract, signing another guy like a Fromber and just having the same like batting from last year in addition to a couple young guys. Like this is basically a movie. Like, am I wrong? Like it's this is Hollywood. I mean, if
Are
we're
you
trying
saying the
to,
Tigers
do
are
the whole
running on the
LA
power of
thing,
friendship this year?
dude, no, listen. I'm telling you, the Tigers are trying to copy LA, but not the baseball team. The we're trying to copy Hollywood, okay? Um, the don't underestimate the power of emotion, okay? If Verlander is not going to contribute, or people are underestimating him in terms of what he can bring on as an actual pitcher. I mean, obviously he has the whole like mentoring thing where he's obviously has so much experience in this league. He loves Detroit. He's gonna go into the Hall of Fame with the Tigers cap, and just there's a feeling that I'm getting, as a Tigers fan that I haven't felt in a very long time, as to the way this team is stacking up. And this goes back to what I said earlier, the earlier what in the month I believe it was, where I was vouching for not trading school at all, just keeping him. Don't like if you're not going to resign him, don't resign him, but keep him for this year and see what happens. And I'm starting to see that might work out. So I mean, I'm not going to speak too early. I mean, it's gosh, it's like February, so I'm not going to say too much because who knows? It might be like June and we've only won 5 games somehow because it's Detroit sports. But um, still, I mean, there's a lot of good signs for this team looking forward.
In terms of Verlander, I think bare minimum is just put in an effort until Jackson Jobe comes back. That the bare minimum. It would be great if he could go out there and actually still contribute meaningful pitching days. Maybe give Skubal an extra day of rest. I mean, that would be best case scenario. That's what we're all hoping for. But to your point, the power of friendship will prevail. The power of friendship is what this team will run on.
Yep.
Anyways, that's our Tigers news. Let's move on to the Red Wings. No games this week because of the Olympics, but we can highlight the guys from the Red Wings, what they were doing in Milan yesterday. Larkin was I don't know if did he get any points yesterday. They had 6 goals, and he was
I
pretty
believe
active when I was
I
watching.
believe he didn't get any points, but
Yeah.
um,
Anyway, the U.S. won. Larkin, he doesn't have to play his best when you're on the third line. You have to back up Austin Matthews and like all these just stars from the league. But they got it done. But someone who definitely got a point for Sweden in a very very sick goal is Lucas Raymond.
right. So sorry, there was a lag there. So it's pretty interesting because Sweden is getting third in their group. And the U.S. obviously is going to win their group given they don't choke today against Germany. But it's kind of funny to see that Dylan Larkin's going to face Moritz Seider today. Um, Obviously Germany, and then their next game is most likely going to be in the quarterfinals against Lucas Raymond in Sweden. So uh, going into the semifinals, there's probably only going to be one Red Wing. So that's kind of sad, but I mean, what can you do? It's a good thing that we're seeing Lucas Raymond perform consistently, regardless of where he goes, because he hasn't been playing his top level when before the Winter Olympics breaks began. Hopefully, he continues to play like this for Sweden, and regain some of that form. Dylan Larkin, I can't say too much about because he's not really the star of that team. And then obviously Moritz Seider leading the team as obviously one of the leaders behind Leon Draisaitl. It's a good way to gain experience as a leader, someone who plays in these obviously emotional games in the Olympics. Hopefully, gives him some experience going forward, and when we get into the playoff swing. So
It's just, you want the Red Wings to do well, but above all, we want the U.S. to do well. So if I had to pick a Red Wing, it's Dylan Larkin and the rest of them. But best of luck to
Michigan
all
too,
of
by the
them.
way. Michigan too.
All right, best of luck to all, best of luck to all of them. We'll move on to Michigan basketball. They played 3 games this week. The first one was against OSU. I made the prediction that they would go in here and not struggle, and I was right. They won by 21. It was close for a little bit, and then Michigan pulled away. Guys, what did you think about it?
I think it was good. I mean, even in the first half, the most shocking moment was Adaimara making two threes, and he really pulled them like without hesitance. And watching him warm up at home games, he does spend a lot of time. I think Dusty commented on it. He spends a lot of time shooting threes for some reason. I mean, I understand he's good everywhere else, so maybe he has time to do that. But it definitely paid off in this game, and he was really dominant for quite a few stretches of that game. And Ohio State just couldn't not get anything going in the paint in the second half, especially. It was just like there's a tree down there. So, and plus you have Yaxel who can come in and erase shots off the glass too. So it just makes it difficult. A team would probably have to play perfect for them to lose again.
Well, not necessarily
Or just
because
beat Wisconsin.
well, they played
Exactly.
perfect, but I'm saying like the next game that we saw was against Northwestern, and Northwestern certainly wasn't playing perfectly. I mean, they were making the shots, but that 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the second, no, not into, but 15 minutes left in the game, they were up again. So I mean, there are some moments where you can see Michigan falter. But thankfully, because of their strength and their depth, they tend to just take away any possibility of the other team winning towards the end of the game. This happened against Ohio State, where that lead really expanded later on, and they were winning consistently by like 5 to 10 points throughout the first half and beginning of the second. And it just grew because they can just out rotate any team in the entire country. I don't know. There's not a single team that has a more higher, like a better, depth, a better bench than they do. I think all 4 guys on the Michigan bench can start for, or would be in contention for starting for any Big Ten team. Any, and I include Will Cheddar in this too. Like he doesn't get praised, but I mean you've seen the way he plays when he comes in, and obviously his 3 point making capabilities are quite impressive. I mean you can compare this to Michigan State where Kohler and Cooper can't shoot anything anymore, so he would definitely be sharing minutes with those type of players too. And for Michigan he plays like 11 minutes a game, which is crazy. So and yeah, so we obviously against Northwestern we saw that help them out with LJ Kaysen coming in and performing really well. I don't know, Mark, if you have anything to say about his performances recently.
LJ Cason's been playing great recently. Like he comes in off the bench and he'll give you your 10 points, a spark. However he does do it. But what I would like to highlight about this game is not anything Michigan related, but Northwestern. You have held Martinelli in purgatory for 4 years. This guy could have gone anywhere and had success, but he has stayed loyal to a really awful basketball program. And what is it? What have they done for him? You could have gotten here, at least send him off with a win against Michigan, but they go in and just start choking. It's 16 points. 16 points is a lot in college, especially, when there's not that much time left, like 15 minutes. It's still a good amount of time, but the pace is slower. It's set up so that if you have a big lead, you should be able to keep it, but,
Yeah, I mean, it was just, there was also like not a second where I didn't think Michigan was going to win the game somehow. So just
Yeah.
knowing it was Northwestern, even at that point, you just felt it coming. So, and then they just like didn't miss shots. Obviously, LJ Kaysen really took over Cadeau's spot in the second half and just they came back. But you could just tell they're just different levels to how they were playing at the end of the second half.
And you
Like
touched
not
on
even
this.
the same league at times.
And you
Yeah,
touched on this,
I would.
Alex. It's just really deep. The guard rotation, especially LJ Kaysen, Trey McKinney, Cadeau, they can all come in, do a job. So
Amari Burnett too.
Namari Burnett,
So
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, all of them are great shooters. So, which is surprising. I mean, the one like weakness this team was thought to have in the beginning of the season was their 3-point shooting, and that was obviously a weakness last season too with Dusty May. So, it's good to see that the guard play finally, catching up to the front court. Maybe a little, obviously still not as good, but with the emergence of LJ Case, and hopefully he can continue not just this season but into the future. I mean, he's going to be a 4-year player for Michigan. So we'll definitely see him the next 2 seasons with the team. Hopefully, he can really emerge as even an all Big Ten player because. Or, I mean, initially he came with Dusty to play at FAU, and he was gonna like start on the bench there. So at FAU, so his emergence is really something that no one expected.
hopefully him and Trey stay uh, with Michigan, and they're able to have the backcourt, and then maybe transfer in some guys in the front court, or continue to find people from high school and bring them in. But
Oh,
um,
by the way, on that note,
on that note,
Michigan number has now with the addition of a top 10 recruit from the 2027 class, which reclassified to this year. I think he's top 40. Is now the number 3 class in 2026 behind Kansas at number 1 and the one and only Michigan State at number 2. So so much for just relying on the transfer portal. I mean, gosh, like Dusty May literally had 2 players coming in from the team that Juwan Howard left him. So I don't really understand all the criticism of him having a team that was not built when he literally didn't have any foundation to build off of. You can finally maybe see the effects or the type of way that Dusty May is going to build his teams. These first 2 years was definitely very relying on the transfer portal, but there's no reason why if he was going to continue relying on the transfer portal to spend so much resources and time and obviously recruitment on getting players like Trey McKinney, getting players like Quinn Costello, who are both McDonald's All Americans. So
it's just it's another focus. I mean, he brought his guys with him from FAU last year, like in Vlad Golden, and as you said before, LJ Kaysen, who committed there initially, and it was probably just like a feel out phase, like okay, build a culture here, see who wants to play with us, and then they were able to luck into Yaxel from UAB, and he's been the star here. So if you can, it's kind of like Indiana, like they not like Indiana at all actually is what I meant to say. Like they focus strictly on the portal, and high school comes secondary, and that's worked for them. That works better in football because there's more of a physical strength type of aspect, or I'll leave it like that. But from high school, you can come in and just be the best player in college basketball. Like Darren Peterson, if he ever wants to play, another college basketball game, he could go out there, and these guys are not on his level. Basically, like he is league. Like if he were to play consistently, he would show that he is above the college level, and that's not something you find in football. But Dusty May has been able to find his balance now in kind of the recruiting and the transfer portal, which I'm sure he'll bring in more guys next year. And then we didn't touch on this UCLA game yet, and I do have one complaint. Not about the game. Great game, great atmosphere. I have a complaint about the Michigan athletic department. This is the shirt we got. Free. Whatever. Cool. We waited outside. We got our shirts. Tell me why. Olex, your shirt had brown on it. Our other friend Killian's shirt, dirty. My shirt, worst of all, just has a hole. Like, what are we doing? Guys, it's just... The shirts come out of the... Just leave them in the box until you put them on the... It cannot be this hard. Am I like? Am I asking for too much?
Okay,
like for my free shirt to not have a hole in it?
as an Oakland student, you're experiencing what we Michigan students and Michigan fans experience every single game, every single year for every single sport. Okay, I was hinting at this the past couple. Oh my God, did you see the rally towels we got?
Oh my God, hold
They're
on, I have it.
straight
I have it. Hold on, hold on.
swag.
So trash. They're so cheap.
It's right here.
Oh my God, they
Guys,
have to be like negative
Wear
2 cents.
white.
Wear white. You're
We're
already
at the game. Wear white to
You're
get
already
in.
at the game. No, like wear white. No, that was and then obviously like having only 300 people be on the bleachers by the court, and then putting every other student in the corner of the stadium, and most of the kids, most of the students are literally in the upper bowl, hidden all the way back. So, and when you see like eventually we see videos emerge of like the student section sitting and not engaging in the games. Maybe it's because they're literally sitting on the roof, bro. Like they can't even see the court. It's you can see the court better on TV than you can at the games if you're a student. So I have nothing but I mean I get it, money and all, right? But like, come on, man.
If you don't
You're
show up
looking
like
at
at least an hour early, you're not getting a good seat. It's
yeah, because the all the seats are in the upper bowl. But then you look at the other side from where the student section is, which conveniently, isn't shown on TV because the camera faces the other way, is almost empty because all of the rich donors that have those seats sell them on SeatGeek for $5,000 a pop, and no one buys them and no one goes to the games because they're all just trying to profit. So it's just a disgrace. Like come on, we have to do better. At some point you have to care a little bit about the culture rather than the money. A little bit, but I mean that's just my opinion. I mean you could go into
no, I
go
agree with
into
you. You know,
everything the department does with like in terms of finding out about their coaching staff, and particularly the type of activities they do outside of the sports, and all of that. But at least treat the students correctly, at least have some respect. Even for God's sake, even the coaches and players are trying to help out the Maze Rage, and vouching for them in terms of expanding it or bringing it closer to the court. They just do not care at all. They don't care about us at all because they know we're going to stay loyal to the team no matter what. And they don't have better. They don't need us to even have like the bare minimum is to give us shirts without holes in them. Okay, bare minimum.
my shirt, sure, it
Bare
can be dirty,
minimum.
whatever. Just don't. It has like, come on, bro. Like now I
Like
have to like.
Ridiculous.
this is the best thing I've gotten from a game this year, right? You know what? This was free to the athletic department because it was donated. Okay, so yeah, that's what I think of the athletic department.
You know,
It's
last
just
year we got
atrocious.
the cool
That's
light up
one thing that
hats.
I think we need to learn from Michigan State in terms of as a school
That's what I was
is
going
a
to
little
compare it
bit
to.
of
That Michigan State, they have a really great student section, but because it's all around. It's literally the entire like lower part of it is for the students, which makes sense. It's a college, like who goes there? Who's, I mean, the students are the ones who are engaging. They bring the energy. They help the team win. Literally help the team.
Unless it's against Michigan, which they all left, but that's talk for another day. Anyways, keep on going. Yeah.
this isn't just like Michigan or Michigan State. Every college, every sport. If you have fans, they help. And if your fans don't cheer, then it's like Oakland. Coach Campy, you called out Oakland when there was a water main break and campus was closed. I would like to add that, right? He called out Oakland for not having the best fans. But, I went on a random Thursday, I'll get to that, against Youngstown State, and it was pretty packed, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting not that many people there, but the fans brought the energy, and they were able to, keep Oakland in that game with their best player out. I'll touch more on that. They still lost. But, it was still cool to have an atmosphere at the very least. But yeah, on
Nice.
UCLA specifically, I'll let Austin continue on that.
I just want to talk about one thing. The game was good. Michigan had it in hand in the second half. I think they shot 78% in the second half, according to Mick Cronin, who I want to talk about. What is he doing? He literally tells the player to come into the game and then yells at him and tells him to sit back down. and it's apparent to all the fans nearby. I mean, we were calling for a tech like 5 times throughout the game because all he does is complain and walk on the court like he's playing. However, I mean, on paper, UCLA before the season has the players that could compete with most Big Ten teams and or beat them, but that just has not happened this season. They know they paid Donovan Dent and Booker, and they kept Bilodeau, but they just do not look like a team. I don't know if it's their coach or
Mm.
what, but it just looks like a horrible program to be a part of, and I really feel bad for those players.
I'm glad
If
Adai
there's
got
one
out.
thing that I'll touch on the game because I obviously was complaining a lot about the whole seating. The seats we got because we came an hour and a half early were right by the UCLA bench. So we did have a couple of chances to scream at certain Mick Cronin a couple of times, and let's just say
The
he was
student section
definitely
was not
phased.
friendly. The student section was not friendly to him
It
at
was
all.
great. I felt amazing. I like that was. I just players hate him. I mean, it's so obvious. It's you said why are they not good? You were talking about questioning their abilities. It's Mick Cronin. I mean, for like even last season they were expected to do pretty well. They did not do very well. So um, when you go on after games and just straight up say my players suck and my players don't care and my like, come on. The like he has Dan Hurley's ego, Tom Izzo's complaining abilities, and the coaching skills of Juwan Howard. That's who he is. And I don't know why UCLA are still keeping him. I mean that I would fire him like after the season immediately. Hopefully they do just for the sake of the Big Ten. I mean they're like he's a stain on the Big Ten as a conference. It's getting to that point. But
I think they should have let him go when they let a 7'3" guy, from Spain who, has shown that he can be great, just leave. Um, you know, if foreign players especially are loyal, when it is are loyal, I'll just leave it at that. And you have to do something really wrong for them to leave you. Like, Luca, uh, he should have been a Maverick his whole life. Um, Dirk was a Maverick his whole life. It's just these guys like they don't want to. Giannis as a Buck, um, these guys just don't want to leave, and to force someone out like that, it's just crazy. And I wanted to touch on that talent, Donovan Dent. People last year he was like one of the best players in the NCAA. Like with New Mexico, in the Mountain West. He was great. He was like a 20-point per game scorer, and he got him to the tournament. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Um,
they played Michigan State in the second round.
yeah, he's a good player, and he goes in there, and now he just hucks up shots. He doesn't care. He's lost all motivation. And Xavier Booker, I you know I was able to chirp at him because Tom Izzo let him leave, but if he was at Michigan State right now, he would put in a good like quality time right now as a backup. But this game, I called out just how bad he was. He had the lowest plus minus the entire time, and the coach just looked like he hated him the whole time. And Bilodeau, he tried to sub himself in. The game was, he was trying to take initiative to sub himself in. The coach looks at him and says, "No, sit down." And then, like 2 minutes later, he's like, whatever. He looks at his bench, picks out 3 guys in their like warm up shirts, and says, "Get in." So,
Dude.
like, Mick
They were
Cronin,
like subbing every 30 seconds, bro. Towards the end, he's like ferociously pointing at him. I mean, he was definitely saying some things we can't say on here, but he was getting pretty mad at his players. And I think Bilodeau played like 35 minutes, but you could see him like sitting down and going right back in as if that was gonna help whatsoever.
but to touch on actually, Michigan in the game, um, it was close at halftime. You know, considering all that, they were up 2 at halftime, and they were able to go out and make a big, change, not miss a shot. 78% is just insane, according to Mick Cronin, is what he said. He said it was probably the worst defensive performance he's seen from his guys, because it's the guy's fault. Um, like, it was just a good performance. My only complaint about actually Michigan basketball is we didn't get to see Howard Isley Jr. despite our chance. Um, so
yeah, funnily enough, Howard Isley Jr., according to one of our friends, was out at 7-Eleven at 1:30 a.m. the night before the game yesterday buying
Chapstick. Leave it at that.
adult
Nope. Nope.
drinks
Leave it at chapstick.
and chapstick. With his friends. I won't put it all on him, but um yeah, no, so we definitely wanted to see him. We wanted to see him get some playing time, but unfortunately it did not happen.
Like we don't even see him warm up really even either. Usually when they're out there, he just passes the ball to his teammates. I mean,
He's
he'll do
basically a
like
swing
layup
man,
lines. But
but
yeah, he just knows he's not going to get in the game most times. That's probably why he makes different choices too.
He's a morale guy, but it's part of the game. I would like to talk about the gauntlet that Michigan has upcoming against two of the best teams in the nation in Purdue and Duke. Um, you know, Against Purdue at Mackey, it could be a very hard game, but Michigan is undefeated on the road this year. Purdue hasn't looked like their preseason selves, like how they were supposed to perform. Um, they've also been had the tendency to let opposing players just put up monster numbers against them. So, what do you guys think?
I think Purdue will probably be tough because it's at Mackey. Last year they got blitzed in the first half and it was hard for them to come back. It was like 44-15 or something. And they, made it an effort, but it was not, it was too much. But this year, I think if they can guard Braden Smith efficiently with the axle or something and have a game plan for that, so they can try to eliminate the other players because like Trey Kaufman-Renn can't shoot much. So I think Amara could play some solid drop coverage on screens and stuff and try to eliminate like the three pointers. Even against other teams like Indiana, Michigan, and Dusty May really did a good job of shutting down 3-point shooters. And I think Purdue runs a lot of plays for Foster Lawyer and company. There's pin downs. I think Michigan really does defend those well. So I think they match up well, but I think being at home will make it really tough and more of a toss-up game in my opinion.
yeah, I mean Michigan barely. I don't remember the last time they won at Mackey. So I feel like every other year I say this year's going to be different, but then they end up losing by like 40. So I'm not too confident going into this game. Hopefully this team is actually different, and this year is different than the rest. But again, I mean it's the Mackey. Somehow Purdue gets every call, makes every shot, and then Michigan has like 20 turnovers every game they play there. So yeah, that's all I will say on that.
On your point
Yeah,
about
and I
them drawing up plays for Lawyer and whatnot, I think Michigan is much better suited this year than any other year, at least to guard that from three, because they're very good on the switches. I hate to keep comparing them to Oakland, but they try to run a very similar, more brutal zone, but they don't have the personnel to switch on everything. Michigan, every time a screen or something, they have great communication. They're able to get a guy on the ball handler, on the shooter, and just at least have a hand in your face. So, hopefully they do better against Purdue this year. But I would argue the harder game is the one against Duke, who beat Michigan State earlier in the year. I don't remember if it was in the Breslin or not, or if it was neutral. But they struggled. Michigan State struggled, but they kept it close. And I think in Michigan's case, they match up better against the Cam Boozers of the world, which is, I think, the deciding factor here.
I would disagree and say Isaiah Evans is the deciding factor. Duke has historically only done really well when he plays well. He's like really lengthy. I mean, him and Dame Sarr are like 6'9", skinny, long wingspan, and he's like a lethal shooter from three. So I think if they can't get it going on the perimeter like that, they'll obviously be able to defend a little bit better maybe because their height is length on the wings is a problem. I don't know about guarding Mara because I don't know how good Patrick Ngongba is, but in terms of what I saw, I think if Duke shoots threes, it might be problematic. But otherwise, I really do think Michigan could handle them on the inside at least.
Right. This week, I think in particular, is a real show to Michigan's talent and ability to play as a team rather than their physical dominance because it feels like for once in the season, they're not the team that is taller, stronger, and faster. Or at least that's not going to be the case these next 2 weeks. No, sorry, next 2 weeks, next week, next two games. So I guess Dusty it'll really show the capabilities of Dusty May to outcoach other teams rather than just rely on their physical capabilities, and it will speak on not only their success on possibility to have success in the tournament, but Dusty May's capabilities as a coach. I mean, after these two games, I think Michigan should easily sweep their schedule. Maybe Illinois will give them problems, but after how they've played these last two games, I'm not so
They
sure.
still have
And
state to
then
play
They
at
were
obviously,
also
home.
missing. They were missing Boswell and Stojakovic the last game. So
I guess that's fair, but also they're going to be missing for, I believe Boswell's still going to be missing for a little bit, if I'm not wrong.
I have no idea.
Um, and obviously it's not going to be easy for him to come back if he does end up coming back. And then obviously like Minnesota, Iowa, and Michigan State are just easy sweeps. Like there's like you
Yeah, easy
can't
sweeps.
like Michigan State's just been horrible. And we'll get to that very soon, but I know they beat Illinois, but I think that's just a testament to how poorly Illinois played.
No, let's just get to
Um,
it right now in
yeah,
Michigan.
Wait,
screw
wait,
it.
wait, wait, wait,
Oh wait,
Yeah,
wait. Boswell is starting today, so he's
really,
playing right now.
I like he had a pretty poor injury, but okay.
Yeah, think he broke his hand, but I saw something on X that he's wearing quite a heavy cast on his hand or the whatever the synonym is, but
So he's
he's
definitely
back. But
inhibited regardless, but
yeah, I don't see Stojakovic at all yet though, so I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see if they struggle today, but yeah, that'll who knows how that game will go.
They are down 10-9 right now to the Indiana Hoosiers at home, so I guess we'll
yeah,
see how
10-9
that.
is a big hole for them. Um,
Yeah.
a team that couldn't get out of a big hole and was just in what was probably the most disappointing game I've watched all year from just like sports maybe was this MSU game. I lied. The most disappointing sports game I've watched was that Steelers game. I cannot believe they let Kenneth Gainwell turn into prime, just Bijan and Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders just all had a child or something. Anyways, MSU basketball, they were down 20 basically that whole game and just could not find anything to get them out. Cohen Carr was showing up early. He had their first 10 points. And then Curtain came in and gave them 5 more, and they were at 15 for a little bit, and there was just no offense. It was just not good.
No, they've almost completely fallen away from the staple of their team from earlier this year in defense. I mean, Blackwell and Boyd were just unstoppable. Michigan State really didn't provide any resistance. They both had 25 plus points, I think, and was not typical Tom Izzo basketball, and they really have not looked good in weeks. I mean, Illinois is a different game. They've also struggled, but when you're losing to Rutgers for 38 minutes of the game, Wisconsin wire to wire, and some of these other teams, it's just I don't know what happened. Maybe the injuries, and it's just not even. It's just getting worse. But it's really not looking great looking forward. So Wisconsin was definitely a quite a bad loss on the road, despite them being a solid team. It was just over from the start, really.
Yeah, you made this point, and I think it needs to be hammered home. Trey Fort, hop on LinkedIn. Just do it. Do it for the sake of everyone. He came in, right, Divine Ugochukwu's out, and, Izzo's trying, get him back into the lineup. I saw him, I thought it was Jordan Scott, just take the ball and shoot a contested 3 and brick it immediately. And, I was like, who is that? Because I haven't seen him play in a little bit. And then Austin said, that's Trey Fort. That's
Yeah.
that's my comment. That's all I'll say.
I think he came in for 6 minutes, 0 for 3 from 3 and a turnover. So probably every single possession they had during that stretch, he was because they had him and Wojcik out there at the same time, which is really a disaster. That's like Rutgers level lineup, even worse probably.
Yep, and having Wojcik play out there with fears towards the end of the game, that was that was just hilarious in my opinion. But
I don't know. They have UCLA and Ohio State at home this week, which both could be very dangerous if they keep playing the way they have. So I hope they might turn it around because it's at home. But fears being every assist until the last 2 minutes of the game Michigan State is just too much of a load to bear, even when they're not playing the best. Like I know that was what Mark figured out from the game, and Mark seems to love Jesse McCullough. So you have any comments on that, Mark?
They need a Xavier Booker back. That's my comment. Jesse
Yeah, McCullough
McCullough,
might
he
be.
just goes in there and shoots about two terroristic threes if he gets the chance until Izzo pulls him. So it's oh maybe next year, he comes in over the summer and Izzo has him on that workout plan and he turns it around. But yeah, on these games next week, UCLA, they have the talent, but as we said, Mick Cronin might be the reason that MSU prevails in this one.
Yeah, back sort of quickly back to
Oh,
the
sorry.
whole Xavier Booker thing. You I don't know if you really the way you were talking during the game yesterday made it seem like you don't think Xavier Booker would have been a good choice for Michigan State to keep, considering the fact that he had the lowest plus minus out of any player on UCLA, and like with a minus 26, I believe. So, and you were very critical of him during the game. So. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
where that change in opinion came from, but
It's not a
Yeah,
change in opinion. I'm saying it's just better. He's better right now as a player than Jesse McCullough, and this team has a chance
that's
to go
horrible.
far. So,
it's just him. It's just like him as a player. I don't know where he fell through the cracks or something. Maybe they had felt he had high potential, but I just never see him as a starting quality player. Like he's fine off the bench, and when he knows his role. No, even he was a frustrating player last year too. Just come in, he would only want to shoot threes. You're 7 feet tall, and you have no game inside the 3 point line. So it was very apparent yesterday. Obviously, he was on Mara, so that's the game plan is to try to stretch him out and shoot threes. But I think he maybe hit one out of his 6 tries. Like that is not starting efficiency numbers, and he got 2 fouls right away. So I don't know. Obviously Tom Izzo over the years knows when he likes a player or not because he's pretty stubborn, but Xavier Booker is definitely not that. And he's going to get to come to East Lansing too on Tuesday, so we'll see. He stinks it up there too. I don't know.
but I think the game that they're going to struggle with the most is actually OSU. They're not a bad team at all. Like I think they're on the fringe, like at least top 30. They're in the fringes of cracking into the top 25. But they also have to. I don't know if they play Virginia before this. OSU do, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not as like an easy of a game as it could be for MSU.
Yeah, I mean they didn't have Mobley yesterday, but Ohio State similar problem. I really even yesterday nobody but Brewer could score 0. So I just think it'll be a struggle for them to come in and win. They obviously have like even 2 years ago, but I don't know. I mean, every game's tough with these teams because they're all like in 30-40 range on the different metric systems. It's hard to tell, but like at this point, I don't know. They're both at home, so I would give the edge to MSU, but I'm sure the spreads will not be like they were for Michigan. It won't be 15.5. They'll probably be like 2.5.
These are two games that if I'm an MSU fan, I expect to win both of them, and I think they should be comfortable wins. If you look at this team, if excuse me, if you see them as doing something in the tournament, these two games have to be comfortable wins. Just kind of show that you're not done with the season. It's not falling apart right now. That these are two very winnable games from what they've shown earlier in the year, and that they should get it done. They should get it done. They really should. But oh my goodness, a team that did not get it done was Oakland. You might as well literally load a gun, put a bullet in there, and play Russian roulette instead of watching this. Unbelievable. And I don't know, these last 3 games have felt like just garbage. And I don't know if it's because Isaac Garrett has sprained his ankle. He might have been top 3 scorer. He was like 14 points a game type of guy. And they don't have that production anymore, and now they are running a basically 6-man rotation. Brody Robinson played all 40. But, he went like 4 of 16 from the field, and it was just not the best performance I've seen Brody Robinson have. Michael Hogue, he played well. I think he was like 11 of 13 from the field. Brett White, when you go he had 11 shots from three, every single one of his field goal attempts, and he hit 5 of them. He's good, solid production there. It's just when you have, I don't know, seven guys technically played, but I think Coy Thurman had a good 3 minutes. So my only analysis is that Isaac Garrett, please come back. This team needs you. I saw you wearing your Converses on the bench. Your ankle is fine. Please, we need you to win the Horizon. Please. Please. And I honestly think that's all the news we have for this week, unless you guys have anything else that I missed.
Nothing in particular. I mean, All-Star game this week, so I mean, with the NBA and NHL,
Kind of
there's
on break.
nothing much going on. So, I guess we'll see how Cade, Duran, and JB Bickerstaff do today. That'll be exciting to watch. Basically, the only Pistons related thing to watch, or Red Wings related things to watch, or Lions related thing to watch. So, this week. So, it's sort of unfortunate. Going to be a off week in sports, particularly with the Detroit professional sports.
But
Yeah.
best of luck to the Pistons players out there. I think Duran would have done better in the dunk contest than these guys, but maybe good that he pulled out of that. But on that terrible disappointment, we will call it an episode. Make sure you guys follow us on all of our socials. If you're watching the video on YouTube, like, subscribe, get that bell, get the notifications when we upload. And yeah, until next week.